checking us out here on the Friday Sports Buzz. John Lewis, along with Greg Brom, who has graciously agreed to switch seats with me tonight to co-host the show with me tonight.
It's a little bit different on this side, but a lot less stressful, John. Well, I'm glad you can run the show tonight.
Yeah.
Now just follow your lead.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to carry you tonight. That's what's going to happen. Well, we also want to say congratulations. You've added yet another title to your resume, and this is a really good one. You've seen Greg here doing the Sunday Sports Buzz. You'll hear him on 1450, the Sports Buzz in the afternoon. But now, the new, wouldn't say the new head coach, you're the very first head coach of Thomas Nelson High School down at Bardstown.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm excited about the opportunity. Brand new high school, great facilities, the people are fired up there, and I'm looking forward to the chance to really, you just build a program in the image and in how you want it to be. Everything I've learned along the way, I'm going to try to instill. Hopefully I've soaked in some of the football knowledge and expertise from the people I've been around and try to instill some of that. And I like the new shirt. This does not stand for Greg. It's Generals. We are the Generals, but I like it. It looks good.
You're a Nike school.
We're ready to go. Nike, not the swoosh.
All right.
The swoosh. The kids will like that.
But Greg, you've played under and have been with a lot of great coaches at U of L, and well, even in the high school too, but certainly at U of L, and learned from some of the best.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I tried to soak in as much as I could while I was at the University of Louisville and working for great people, not only on the football side with Coach Petrino, and really learned how to run a detailed program, but even on the administrative side, the guys like Kevin Miller, Casey Skull, and how you run an athletic department and kind of do all the logistics that surround a football team. I'm going to try to remember those things, first of all, and try to utilize some of that, kind of give our games kind of that event feel that you get at a college game.
That would be great. You play a JV schedule the first year, is that right?
We do. We're going to start with a JV schedule, and I think that'll be good for us. We'll get to know each other. All the surroundings will be new for these players because they're coming from Nelson County High School or Bardstown High School, so it's all a new situation for them. Let them get their feet wet a little bit, and I think we can that way put them in a position where they have a good chance to have some success the first year. And I think 1 year to ramp up for a varsity season will be good for everybody.
All right. Well, congratulations to you. And
thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time to join us here and do the show.
Anytime. You know I love the Sports Buzz.
That's right. We know you do. A proud family member of the Sports Buzz. Let's talk about your alma mater in basketball, U of L. It's hard to get excited for U of L and UK fans and even IU fans this weekend. These aren't stellar games.
They're not. This is a weekend that you might find something else to do, besides sit in front of your television and watch basketball. Even though tomorrow's game against DePaul with Bohannon maybe out, maybe you'll get to see Blackshear a lot more playing the 3 if Bohannon doesn't start, and Couric playing the 4. They still should be able to handle DePaul. It's definitely a must. I mean, absolutely, it's a must-win.
Sure.
You would think they could do that. John, I feel really good about this team, even after the loss to Syracuse, a lot of things went wrong. They still should have won the game against the number 2 team in the country. And I think that makes me feel good that they can compete with elite teams and make a run.
I felt like, and it's cliche to sound to say this, but I felt like Louisville lost that game rather than Syracuse won it. There were so many things that went wrong for U of L. You got to hit those free throws. Siva can't have the turnovers. And the question of why Patino left Siva in after he had those 2 quick fouls and he got that 3rd one. A lot of things that I'm sure in hindsight it's 2020, but I think the positive, as you said, that comes out of that is they can hang with an elite team, and there's only one team, if you look at the rankings, that's more elite than Syracuse.
There is, and that team is much more elite than everybody else.
Absolutely.
On the court Monday night, Louisville was the best team.
Watching
that game, if I had no idea what the score was of the game and just watched these teams play for 40 minutes, I'd say the team in white was the better team. And I'm glad I can say that now. And you got all the pieces. I think Blackshear will get to play a lot more tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if we see Syracuse later at Carrier Dome, he'll be a more integral part of that game as well.
Well, he certainly had that coming out party in his first game. Shane Bohannon, as you mentioned, has the flu right now, or flu-like symptoms, and it may have limited to him against Syracuse. Probably will limit him if he plays at all against DePaul. And Blackshear going home, you got to expect that he would have that big game.
Yeah, I think that he really wants to perform well. He'll get a lot of time tomorrow. I think he's going to give him a lot of time. But Hannah's been playing so well, though, underneath. He's been such a force down low. He was great against Syracuse. I think Louisville might miss him a little bit. Jing will bounce back. He was in a bad position Monday night. I mean, it is puzzling to me why that Coach Pitino had Jing at the free throw line in the high post and kept relying on him to be a playmaker from that position. He just looked uncomfortable. Fish out of water. He'll be better off down low. Yes. Let Corrick be the 4 guy if they're playing zone and run that free throw line.
There was a reason he was open every time he got the ball there.
That was almost like when they threw me the ball in basketball. And everybody just backs away and begs for me to shoot the ball. There's a reason that's happening.
Well, the reason I think U of L fans are confident, DePaul's bad. They've lost 5 straight. They lost to UConn 80-54. And now, if you would have said this last year, sure, they lost to UConn 80-54. But this is not the UConn team that won the national championship. Kemba Walker's not walking through that door.
Yeah, you know what? They're in danger, I think, of not even making the tournament.
Absolutely,
I mean, they are just in a free fall. And DePaul got blown out by them. So Louisville, I mean, it shouldn't be any jeopardy, I think, of losing the game. Just get a win, survive, move on. I think the game at Cincinnati next week is a bigger measuring stick for the team at Cincinnati. But just get a win and get out of there.
Yeah, last time U of L won 76-59. Cleveland Melvin, who's 4th in the Big East in scoring, with 17.8 points per game, he only had 8 points. So defensively, they know what they need to do to win that game.
They've been playing great defense too.
Yes,
you cannot, you talk about Syracuse's zone. That Louisville zone was every bit of Syracuse's zone on Monday night. They've been playing great defense. I think they hold opponents to the 2nd lowest field goal percentage in the country, and the defense will carry this team through some of these offensive struggles that they sometimes have.
And boy, did they ever have a few against Syracuse. You can't go that long and not score.
No, I mean, Kyle was not hitting his threes. Yeah. Chris hit some threes. Russ was not even part of the game. And I think that hurts Louisville. I'm a Russ guy, and I know some other people, he doesn't play as much as he was during that stretch we had all the injuries. But when he has 3 points, gets no field goals, and he made a bunch of turnovers, I think it hurts not to get some production out of him.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, and before, I remember at the beginning of the season, we talked about how, man, it's tough that they got to run that offense through Russ. But now, the more they go, I mean, it seems he's a guy that he might take 30 shots, but it's worked.
Hey, I think they're better when he's shooting, even if he's missing. At least something's happening. And Peyton, he'll have spectacular stretches of the game like he had in the beginning of the game against Syracuse, and then he'll get back to that. He does not have a lot of those steady point guard qualities as far as free throw shooting. Overall, pretty good percentage, but he missed. He was 1 of 4 in the game. Silly fouls, over penetrating sometimes, which he gets up in the air. But he makes so many things happen that you need him to be the, kind of driving the bus. Right. He has to be the guy to do it for you to even have a chance when it comes to tournament time.
And maybe this DePaul will be the elixir to fix things, this DePaul team.
I hope so. You're looking for a good shooting night, a great, crisp offensive performance. That's what you're looking for tomorrow.
All right, we're going to talk about the Kentucky Wildcats, take a look at the AP rankings, and how about your alma mater doing pretty well in high school hoops?
Yes, they are good now. We can talk about that.
All right, we will.
I've seen them a few times.
All right, we'll talk about that. Stay with us here on the Friday Sports Buzz from the iTech Studios.
Goomer & Company Jewelry is proud to celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Hello, I'm Bruce Goomer, founder and owner of Goomer & Company. This is a family business, and we'd like to thank you for choosing Goomer & Company. My family and I look forward to being your jewelry store for years to come.
For over 40 years, we've been the largest gold, silver, and diamond dealer in the area.
Come see us on Hurstburn Parkway or visit goomerjewelry.com and experience the Goomer difference.
Tronics Country says you're approved, guaranteed.
I wanted a new computer, but I couldn't get financed.
If you have an active checking account and can afford low, flexible payments, you're already approved, guaranteed. There's no credit check, so you won't be turned down.
Tronics Country approved me quickly.
I got instant approval, and it was easy.
And with your paid order, we'll add a free color printer, free MP3 music player, and free LCD TV. Call now and tell us where you want your brand new computer and free gifts shipped today.
Keep your eye on 21 for the latest news and weather information from the local team that is working for you. Weekdays at 1 p.m. you can see Wave 3 News midday on Channel 21. Get the breaking news happening right now in our community and around the world. Plus the most accurate forecast from Kentuckiana's favorite weather team. Catch the day's news and weather at a time that's right for you. Wave 3 News midday, weekdays at 1 p.m. One more reason to keep your eye on 21.
All right, you're watching the Friday Sports Buzz here on ION 21. John Lewis along with Greg Brom. If you want to get in on the conversation, you can call our Goomer and Company Buzz line, 964-2121. Well, we talked a lot about U of L in that first segment. Let's talk about Kentucky and another, looks like it's going to be a pushover kind of thing. U of L, 8.5-point favorite. UK, a 21.5-point favorite over Ole Miss at Rupp Arena.
I tell you what, Kentucky's toughest game this week was Wednesday, the open practice. Yeah. That was their toughest opponent. It was Wednesday. This is going to be a breeze. Ole Miss got crushed by Vandy this week.
They got housed.
Got crushed. Kentucky's rolling, and that makes you think, you know, is it good somewhere along the line for Kentucky to have a loss just so that the balloon is just not so ripe to be burst by a little pinprick in the NCAA tournament? Do you want a loss to reset yourself against Florida?
He's having to go up and down.
I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think they're going to run the table.
You don't have to do that.
Do we need to recut that segment? Is the audio bad?
No.
Won't be easy. They have to play at Florida at the end of the season. I don't think it happens tomorrow. I mean, they play at Rupp. I don't think that winning streak under Calipari is in danger because, as you mentioned, Ole Miss got killed by Vandy 102-76. Sloppy game, 3 technicals. 2 of the Ole Miss players had to be separated after the game. It was just, that is a team that is in disarray.
Yeah, you know what? It is, and they haven't made any noise in a few years now, and yeah, they're going to roll. The thing about Kentucky, it's so scary. They're extending the gap between them and everyone else, and it's because the Teagues are playing better. You know, Teague, Terrence Jones has had a few coming out games after disappearing a little bit behind Davis and Kid Gilchrist. So you get Teague playing well. Ooh, I mean, it puts shivers up your spine.
I mean, look at the last 3 or 4 weeks, how Teague has improved. And, yeah, if Terrence Jones had shown up against Indiana, we're talking about an undefeated team still.
Yeah, I mean, they're a last-second shot from being undefeated. And I think you could even tell when they lost that game that this team, all the hostile environment, Indiana playing the games of their lives, and this team still, Kentucky almost won that game. You probably could tell then that this is a different type of team. But you get the tournament, you get that wrong matchup, it only takes 1 loss, and the whole season just goes down to 2s.
Right. But, I mean, they probably could use a loss, and, you know, it's going to be hard to run the table, but Kentucky is certainly looking like a team that could do it.
Yeah, they could do it. They're going to play their first 2 NCAA tournament games in Louisville. You know that. They're just going to coast through those 2, and then you're going to have 2 games to go to the Final Four. And it's all about those matchups. I saw the mock tournament draw that was done in Indianapolis with media members, and Eric Crawford had it posted on his blog. And in the bracket they had Kentucky, it was Kentucky is the 1, Carolina is the 2. Louisville was the 4, Baylor the 3.
Was in there.
You know what? That's not good for Kentucky. I don't think they want a bracket with Carolina and Louisville and an athletic team like Baylor.
Hey.
That would not be to their liking, so it's matchups that could get them.
They would love to play at the Yum Center, but I don't know they'd like to play in a region that has those top 4 seeds.
No, seeing Louisville in a rivalry game, North Carolina, who they beat and has the talent, if they all show up to beat them. Or, you know, you get a team like a Michigan State, you know, maybe a Florida State who's powerful and big and powerful. Or you get that Syracuse, they're better in Syracuse, but that Syracuse zone is like kryptonite to UK Superman. It could be.
I agree. Let's take a look at the AP rankings, and we talked about Kentucky. We think that they're far and away above everyone else as the #1 team, but there are a couple voters. Now, maybe they've changed their mind after that Louisville game, but a couple voters still giving Syracuse the nod, and Missouri third. Murray State at 16 now. I worry about their seeding now in the tournament after getting upset by Tennessee State, and you see Indiana 18 and Louisville 19.
Yeah, I think I didn't know Rob Jones and Trevor Kelsey were voting in the poll. The two Syracuse first players. Handsome Jimmy must have a vote. Handsome Jimmy might have a vote in the AP poll. But Murray is going. If they lose again, then they're going to be bubble-ish probably. If they lose again for a tournament. The worst nightmare for Louisville, in my opinion, and I mentioned it on the TV show on Sunday and on the radio show, is showing up first round and you got Murray. That's the worst nightmare for Louisville. Let's say Louisville's a 14 and Murray sneaks in at 13, the seed. I mean, you don't want to see that, Louisville. It brings back too many memories of Moorhead. And Murray will get in, and that AP ranking, they won't even be anywhere close to that high in the seeding. But they'll get in. Indiana will probably be about a 4 or 5 as well.
I mean, they got their 20th win. Probably will get their 21st tomorrow against Iowa. Let's go to the Goomer Company Buzzline. You can call in here on our iTech studios, the Goomer Company Buzzline, 964-2121. We have Carrie on the line. Hey, Carrie.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
As Kentucky, they got to get into other conferences where they play better teams than in SEC. And then as far as U of L playing against Murray State, I don't think Rick is going to go out the way he did with Moorhead no more. He'll kill the team first. And then the question I have is, with West Virginia paying $20 million to get out, is Syracuse and Pitt going to pay $20 apiece? Are we going to actually see a schedule now? And is Boise State going to get to come play in the 2012-13 football? That's it.
Yeah, there's some talk now that Boise State, they're trying to work out a deal where they would be able to come in next year and play in the Big East, which would help because you could plug in Boise State in that West Virginia absence there in a lot of schedules. And there you see Boise State hopefully will come in next year and work that out. Navy and San Diego will come in later in football, and then Central Florida, Houston, Memphis, and Southern Methodist in the new Big East.
I tell you what, if Boise State doesn't come in, I mean, you've got a problem scheduling-wise.
Sure,
you're going to have 6 conference games. That's not much of a conference schedule at all. Then you got to find somebody to fill that slot. It might be another 1AA game. Don't be surprised if you're playing 2 1AA teams if you're like a Louisville. And looking at that conference for the future, I think Louisville won't be in it in a couple of years. But that's a tougher football conference to win, looking at those teams, than the one you got now. I mean, it's tougher to win. You got Boise, Central Florida, Navy with that option, Houston with what they're running down there, and you got my good friend Tony Levine, who was on staff here at Louisville with us, is the head coach down there now in Houston. That's a tougher conference to win than the current one.
Well, what's also interesting is, because a lot of people were saying, basketball-wise, I hate how it's broken up because I grew up a Big East basketball fan, but Syracuse and Pitt didn't take a lot off the table in football when they take off. I mean, they don't. You can replace them football competitive-wise. Now, sizzle-wise and name, tradition, recognition, no, you don't. You do drop down a notch, and you know what? The BCS may not have any more automatic berths in a couple of years. Well, which then your whole reason for staying in the Big East, for the only reason the Big East is a player is because of that. Well, and when you look at that lineup there, you did mention it is a tougher football deal, but that doesn't have automatic qualifier written all over it. It looks a lot like Conference USA, which is something that U of L struggled so hard to get out of. Absolutely. You don't want to just recreate Conference USA. Louisville, you got to go to the Big 12. You get the opportunity. The cash is there. That league will survive. I mean, the upheaval, the Big East could be raided again. I wouldn't doubt if Connecticut gets out eventually, Rutgers, they're gone eventually. You better leave before you're left. Yeah, that words to live by for U of L, and I think eventually they'll be reunited with West Virginia in that Big 12. Hey, that's a great rivalry. I'd love to see Cincinnati over in the Big 12 at some point too. They've had some football success. I mean, you know, you don't think about them that much, but
they've had some success the last few years and gotten to the BCS Bowl twice in the last several years. So I'd like to see Cincinnati get in there eventually, too.
And I'd like to see that, keep that rivalry going. We'll see if that happens. All right, we're going to take one more break, and we'll come back with your calls and take a look at some high school hoops right after this.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Hi, I'm Jim Weeks. At MaxCare, no project is too big. We have the capabilities to handle the smallest residential project to the largest commercial undertaking. We even clean big houses like this one. And everyone has been abuzz about our amazing 4 areas for $99 special. We want to let everyone know that MaxCare also cleans upholstery, ceramic tile, and air ducts. We also install and refinish hardwood floors dust-free. MaxCare, locally owned and family operated. Give us a call, 636-4629.
If everything's coming at you, you're in the wrong life. BC Rooster here. There are two ways to go through life. The first is to get yourself all tied up and down, scurrying here and there. The second is to pace yourself. Every once in a while, you gotta sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's when I head on over to Roosters. I just love the wait staff. It doesn't matter what kind of mood I'm in when I arrive. They make sure it's adjusted by the time I leave. When it's time to pull out of the fast lane, make it Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
WBNA TV 21 is hiring an account executive. We're looking for an aggressive, enthusiastic, highly motivated, and character-focused individual. This individual must have the ability to close new business deals, and candidates must be able to think outside the box. A background in media sales is preferred, but not necessary. Candidates should have a good knowledge of local and Christian media market. If you fit these attributes and would like to be a part of a dynamic, fast-paced, and exciting company, send your resume to tom@WBNA21.com.
Jenny Merriman.
And I'm Greg Brom. Shop 21 Live is now with you 5 days a week.
That's right. Catch us Saturday mornings at 10, Mondays at noon, and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6:30 p.m.
Always offering you half price on restaurant, golf, entertainment, trips. We have it all here at 21 Live.
That's right. So don't miss it. Check out our website, shop21live.com.
21 Live, Kentuckiana's live local shopping show.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here on the Friday Sports Buzz. John Lewis, along with the new Thomas Nelson High School football coach, Greg Brom, joining us here. Let's talk about your alma mater, Trinity, #1 team. And it's fitting that they play Jeff tonight as we celebrate the reopening of the Sherman-Minton Bridge. Over to Jeff. And
everybody might be able to get home quicker after the game.
Very true. Trinity #1 looked like #1 tonight. They got their 26th win. They win 61-54 over Jeff. The Shamrocks, they're going to open the 27th District Tuesday versus Atherton. So Trinity is a team that, man, it wasn't too long ago we were so surprised that they were in the Sweet 16, and now you'd be surprised if they don't make a run in the Sweet 16.
I would be surprised. They are head and shoulders, I think, this year. While Ballard is good, I don't think they're what they have been in many, many years as dominant. And I'd be surprised if Trinity didn't win the 7th region. They are deep, John. Yeah. They have college-level players, and their second unit, as some younger guys, I mean, they're going to be good for a while because that group is about as good as any other team. Their second unit, James Quick, he's amazing. Mike Szabo has the team this year that could make a run in Lexington.
Well, we'll see what happens there as they start postseason play here on Tuesday. Another surprise team is Moore. Moore has been solid all year long, and they were trying to pull off an upset tonight against 4th-ranked PRP. And Jalen Sanford for Moore hits a free throw with one, and here's why it's important to hit free throws. He hits a free throw with 1.4 seconds left, and Moore wins 73-72, so they pull off that upset against PRP.
Hey, a pressure free throw. I mean, if you can sit there with 1 second left and you drain it, I mean, that's big time. And Moore has got a great basketball history. Manuel Forrest, a great Cardinal player. I mean, was a tremendous high school basketball player, and they've been good for a number of years. But beating PRP anytime anytime you can beat PRP, that's accomplishing something.
And it didn't hurt that McKay had 22 points and 10 rebounds tonight.
Hey, I tell you what, that guy can play. I don't know how many, the decathlon, decathlete of college sports. This guy's going to play football and basketball. Is a good-looking athlete.
Yeah, he's tough, and has certainly helped Moore achieve what they've achieved. Also, Manual and St. X, rivalry there tonight. The Tigers pick up a win, and they've really improved. They win 73-64. The Tigers are going to start 26 district play Tuesday against Brown.
Yeah, St. X is a solid team. They're well coached. Got some good players on their team, and I expect them to make a little bit of noise this year. I think Coach Klein has built the program back up to a level that they can make some. Beat Manual, that's a good win.
Yeah, absolutely. Good way to finish off the season. And then, hard to believe, but Monday, the postseason starts, and then Tuesday for a lot of teams around here.
And you know what? The great thing about Kentucky still is it's one loss and you're out in many situations. Maybe not the first game of the district, but once you get to regional play, and then the beauty of that Sweet 16. I mean, Indiana, I don't know if they like what they've done and gone the class system, but man, that Sweet 16 in Lexington, if you make it there, there's no energy like Rupp Arena with a bunch of high school teams fighting for that title.
And as somebody who grew up in Eastern Kentucky, I can tell you those 12th region, 13th region, 14th, and 15th, and 16th region teams, that's what they live for. Those kids, they dream, because football is big in Eastern Kentucky, but not as huge as basketball. And when you have a team that makes it to that Sweet 16 for the first time. I mean, they're guys, I'm from Leslie County, they're still talking about that early 90s run they made to Sweet 16.
And they're talking about Tim Couch.
They still talk about Tim Couch.
But you know what? Shelby Valley, it was only a couple years ago with the Bullet, they won the Class A championship. Yeah. And a small school, they win the whole thing, the big tournament as well. So that's the magic of it. You know, the small school from those regions out in Eastern Kentucky can come in. They can beat a Louisville school. They can beat a Lexington school. It's Hoosiers, but it's in Kentucky.
That's right. And I think the Hoosiers have messed it up with that whole class system up there.
I've heard some people, it doesn't have the same feel to it, you know, but getting all 16 teams right there for a week, and, you know, it shuts down. People around the country, I think, are amazed that the city shuts down. The NCAA tournament, unless Kentucky's playing, takes a back seat to the state tournament.
Sure. All right, let's talk about the NCAA predictions for UK, U of L, and Indiana. And I've said before, I said on the radio, I would be shocked. Now, I won't say UK will win the national championship, but I would be shocked if they're not in the title game.
I'm going to predict right now, John. Title game loss.
Okay.
Title game loss for Kentucky. I don't know. I'm just going to go title game loss for Kentucky. They won't even get challenged till they get to the Final Four. Louisville, Sweet 16.
I agree.
I would love to see an Elite 8. Sweet 16. IU, second round loss. I think they get in, maybe have one good game. Second round loss, IU.
You know, it's funny. I'd say 2 or 3 weeks ago, if we were talking about U of L, we said, you know, they may not be in the NIT. It's amazing what a little Patino winning streak will do.
The script. I mean, it's been the same script about 4 of the last 5 years, where in January you think this team's not going to make tournament, and here comes the run. And let's hope the script changes in the first round of the NCAA tournament this year as opposed to the last couple.
Well, and some research that I did earlier, Patino averages, since he's taken over at U of L, he averages 5 wins in February. He even had an 8-0 year one year. So it can be done, and he's looking solid again.
That's right. We got to trick him into thinking that February is March, or March is February.
That's right.
March is February. Let's get those 5 wins then.
That'll work. Appreciate Greg for joining us. Appreciate you for joining us. Have a great night.